what you call heights.
You are listening to the B.I.G Show with your hosts, Calvin and Garland. The B.I.G Show is a weekly breakdown of the sports world from a fan's perspective. Here are your hosts, Calvin and Garland.
It is the big show. And it sounds like we're always saying this, but we are back.
Yes.
Again, we always saying we back because we
We
taking
back,
these
y'all.
long ass breaks. We've been
back,
gone for
y'all.
like a month, literally like a month this time and shit.
We were.
So we back. We are live on YouTube, and you can catch us on all the podcast platforms. And if you have Spotify, you'll get to finally see us again after a month, after a whole last month.
A little older, a little bit more gray hair and whatnot.
I'm Calvin. That guy over there is Garland. What's going on, sir? You been out of the country and
I've
just
been out the country,
frolicking around and shit like you're an Olympic athlete.
Right, doing super agent stuff. Let's call me Agent P, Perry the Platypus. I've just been all around fighting Dr. Doofenshmirtz. I've just been traveling the country, y'all. But no, I just celebrated 33 years of marriage.
Congratulations.
So, yeah, shout out to the bride of my youth, Paula. And so to celebrate that, we went on a Carnival cruise, which was great. I'm gonna talk about Carnival cruise and my come on yo. So we went on a cruise for several days. We sailed out of Tampa, went to the Bahamas, went to Bimini, and then went to Nassau.
Bimini.
As you could tell, I ain't as dark as you, Cal, but I got a little color over it, got a little chop. I'm not yellow like I normally am in the spring and whatnot, because I ain't hit no sun yet. But you know, when I was on the boat, your boy was getting kind of sunned out. You know, coming back like a little brown skin Wesley Snipes or something. You know, not all chocolate, like not the chocolate that the cocoa. I'm coming back. You know, a little milk chocolate. You know,
they all want to be black until it's time to be black.
Right? Yeah, you know. Yeah, I ain't crispy like Cal. Like, you know, we used to say that back in the day. Like, get your little crispy self out of here. I ain't crispy like Cal, but
black ass motherfucker. Black ass out of here.
Right, I got a little chocolate on me, you know, got a little mix on me, a little cocoa on me. So yeah, it was a great vacation and just running around doing things. Our actual anniversary was the 11th, which was Friday. Went had a great dinner. Have you ever been to the Ocean Air Seafood Restaurant?
I have not. I think I was supposed to go.
You need
and
to go.
Haven't been.
Yeah. Take out a loan first.
It's been around for a while though.
Yeah. Right down in Harbor East in Baltimore, next to the Four Seasons Hotel and the Marriott. We went out for a little anniversary dinner, man. When I tell you, man, the food was great. I had the jumbo shrimp cocktail, you know, the salmon on a bed of wilted spinach, you know, wilted. Couple martinis. And yeah, man, we had a good time. We were bossing it up, and I think it's the most we've ever spent for just two people for dinner. But you know, sometimes you gotta do more than just Applebee's and you know Outback and whatnot. And so it was nice. So back to earth now, back to work, all those things, and I hate it, but you know it's good to go back to a job. You know, you get kind of used to just taking naps at 3 o'clock in the middle of the day and whatnot when you on a cruise or when you just want to chill out. But yeah, man. I talked enough about me, man. What about yourself? What you been doing for this last month? We've been on hiatus.
Just chill. I first want to know how your servants feel. How does your waiter, your cooking all feel in Hartford Hills that you went somewhere else to celebrate? Are they okay? Like they didn't go on strike or anything?
Yes, we released them. We released them, and
or were they documented? You know what? I forgot. We got a new administration now. You may have lost all of them. They had some undocumented.
No, ICE was not out here. No, we released them, and you know now they're back.
No, man, I've been cool, just chilling, you know, working. The grandson, of course, around running things, and then the wife running things. The weather broke, so you know, did some gardening,
right?
Forced gardening. You know, I'm not out here. I ain't got no green thumb. I'm the help. You know, when they get out there gardening, I'll be like, "What you need me to do?" And I'm the help. So that's all that is. So
the help.
I'm the help.
You is smart,
And that's exactly what it is. When they tell me, they be like, "We need to plant this bush right there. Dig that hole." And I'll be
Right.
like, "You just want me to dig the hole?" They be like, "You was smart. You was kind." That's so just to, just to help.
Yeah, man. So let's jump into this, y'all. It's been a while, so we're gonna be a little rusty at this, but we're gonna get into it anyway. And so a lot of stuff has happened. We can't go back 3 weeks and recap it. We done fussed enough about it on the text line. So talking about Kevin Willard leaving Maryland and them hiring Buzz Williams and all that stuff, and we can't go back to that. But we can touch on this now, man. Um, this off season, man, after, and I'm talking about college sports, after the Final Four, the men's and the women's Final Fours. Shout out to UConn for women winning the women's championship, and to University of Florida Gators winning the men's championship. Um, there's just been a lot of rancor about NIL, and in particular, there's this one player, Calvin, that was at Tennessee, and I'm trying to pull up the story that I had. This kid, he was a quarterback there, Nico uh, Ialam. I can't pronounce the
Yeah,
name.
yeah, we
Yeah,
all
yeah,
know.
Nico.
We know.
And so now he had allegedly a $4 million offer on the table from Tennessee, NIL offer to come there, but he was sitting out trying to renegotiate, and it turns out that a lot of the players, when they were negotiating these contracts, man, they were only negotiating for 12 games, and then if the team made the playoffs, they were trying to go back to the schools and hold the schools hostage and ask them to pay them for the extra games in the college football playoffs. Like this happened with this quarterback. He wanted more money because, okay, I figured that you guys would pay me for the regular season in a championship game. Now we're in the college football playoffs. I want more money. And they was like, they wouldn't budge. And so they just decided to move on. But what we're seeing, man, across the country is just like this. It has no rules. Coaches are just leaving when they want to leave. Players, transfer portal has just been crazy. I mean, I think about Maryland and the Terps and Kevin Willard leaving to go to UConn. That whole team, this is a team that made the Sweet 16. We already know Derek Queen was going to go to the pros. That whole team is gone. Buzz Williams got to start over brand new, and it's late in the season to try to get people. And so, with all of this movement, also with the transfer portal, you don't really get to build the camaraderie with the teams like you used to. Some people, yeah, you still rock out of maybe your state team or what have you. You have some, loyalties to that. But in terms of like the Final Four, I couldn't name two players on Florida Gators. I couldn't name two players on Houston. Only player I can name that played in the Final Four was Cooper Flagg, and that's because he got a whole bunch of press coming in at Duke. And so, but you have all these players. I think one of the guy that won outstanding player for Florida, he was at another school the previous year. And so, a lot of the smaller schools, they're seeing themselves as being feeder schools to the power conferences. And so, I'm saying all that to say, do you think we need regulation with NIL and with the portal? They need to put more rules and more teeth in place to possibly slow down some of this player movement, to make sure players are being paid properly and that the system is just not out of whack like it is right now.
I mean, yeah, we talked about this when this first hit, and yeah, they should, and they're going to. This is still new, so there's always going to be tweaks and things that they're going to do. But you had to introduce it first. Then they're going to find some problems with it. But now they only need to do it because the money is going to get out of hand. But when you start doing that, you might have to look at the coaches also, because the coaches have always had free reign to go wherever they want to go, but not for the reason that you're saying. So, I hear you when you say you don't even know a lot of the college players. They don't build chemistry. Well, they haven't been building chemistry ever since they've been allowed to jump into the NBA after their freshman year. So this has been years where we haven't really known the players unless they're like a Zion Williamson, who really was the last major star that we knew
True.
prior to Cooper Cup. And Zion State, I believe Zion was there just that one year
Yeah,
also, but
that's one
that's
year.
because he came in so highly titled. But we don't know these players. with that, that's an NCAA men's issue, because if you look at the NCAA women, you could probably name more women superstars than you can name men superstars in the past year or two. And the women are doing the same thing, but the names are more household because they're bringing them out more, they're advertising them more. So that's an NCAA thing. But when it does come to, they're going to have to do something to the portal. They're just going to have to, because it just feels like some of this stuff is ridiculous. This guy from Tennessee, like you can't go back and renegotiate after you've negotiated. You
Right,
got to wait till the final year. I mean, you got to wait
right,
till the year's up. You can't do it in the middle of the season.
right.
So they're going to have to start putting some things in place, and they will. You know they will. But it's just going to take time. They got to let it cycle itself out first. Just like the tournaments. How many times have they changed the college tournament? It was the BCS. Now it's the playoff system, so they're going to tweak things and change it. And they're going to have to. But I also think they may have to start looking at the coaches also, because, these coaches have had free reign they recruit these guys, they get them to commit. And remember, the players couldn't leave at one point, and then
Right,
the coaches would jump ship the next season.
right.
So they may have to start doing something to the coaches also, which they probably won't, but there's going to be some tweaks and some restrictions eventually coming down.
Yeah, I think that goes either. I know Dion Subprime had suggested that maybe they do at least a commitment of 2 years,
Mm-hmm.
make the student stay at least 2 seasons. I lean towards that because um, even in imagine if you had this type of free agency in professional sports. I mean, it would be crazy. Lamar could come in, play 1 year with us, get his money up, and go somewhere the next year. If free agency didn't have restrictions, you had to, honor a certain amount of years of the contract and be eligible for this and the salary cap. And so there's a science to it that kind of, in a way, controls player movement. Players just can't all go to one team because, well, at least in football, you have a cap. Basketball, you do have a cap. It's not hard. And so, you can work around those things. Baseball is wide open. That's why, people are mad with the Dodgers now because, the Dodgers is basically buying all the good players, putting them on their team in the Yankees or the Mets. And so I think college sports, especially the major ones, the revenue making ones, football and basketball, they're going to have to come up with something on the men's side. I agree, but now like you said, you're starting to see some of these big name stars in the women's game
Mm-hmm.
start to. You got Full Wiley from South
Mm-hmm.
Carolina. She's in the portal. You
Halle
had a young lady
Van went
from
to
yeah.
3 teams in 4 years.
Right. You got the young lady who was playing at Notre Dame last year. They thought she was going to
Mm-hmm.
come out. They said she was going to be a top five draft pick, but she went back in the portal. And so you have a lot of movement of very good players. Fly J, she's still down at LSU. I don't think she's in the Florida in the portal. And so you got this movement of people, and I just think I don't know if it dilutes the game in some aspects because you really can't keep up. At least on the college level, for me, it dilutes the game. It's like I think the Norfolk State coach, basketball coach, when they, the first round, he was saying, basically, my school is a feeder school for the bigger schools because what they're going to do is when the portal opens, they're going to come to my program, they're going to come to my players, offer them a significant amount of NIL, and they're going to go ahead and go with them. And so I think
Yeah,
we're going to see this big divide.
but again, that's the nature of the beast, because if they weren't going to another team, the great players were jumping into the NBA. And I know how you compared, they got the contracts in professional sports, but now if you want to do something like that where you're making them commit to a couple years, well, now you're going to have to open up to other things. You're going to have to give them more money. They're going to start
Yeah,
saying, well, if you want us to be a model of like professional sports, then we might need to see some health care. We might, there's a lot of things
there's a
that
lot of things that.
come with that. So they're going to tweak it. I don't want it to
Uh-huh.
be professional sports, but it's kind of leaning to semi-professional sports, if I get, for lack of a
To
better
me, it's
term.
already professional. I think the NCAA, they're fine with it just being the Wild Wild West, and
They
because they don't want to
probably
give
are.
up those
Yeah,
billions of dollars in the TV money and healthcare and all those things. Those are things that they don't want to do. So yeah, just let them fight it out every year for the best players. Whoever gets the best players, whoever has the most money, they win, and we just keep on going like that. But I think it's doing more harm to the sport in the long term as opposed to now. Yeah, it's great for the players.
well,
They finally get their freedom and they get paid and stuff. But I think in terms of people don't really, when I'm listening to these podcasts and I'm listening to these guys on the national level, they're all saying the same thing. I never really watch the games because I don't know who the players are. The players are
it's
moving
true.
so much. I can't keep up.
That's true, and there is more movement now than it was when they
Yeah.
were leaving as freshmen. But where we're thinking it's hurting the game, let's look at some of these schools, because maybe outside of college football, which is probably the major one, when you're looking at college basketball, you're getting a lot of these teams that probably would not have been as good being ranked teams and actually playing well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in college basketball, if you look at the tournament, these they were the number one seeds were
Yeah,
all
it was all
advancing.
number one season in the
But
Final Four.
would they have been number one seeds last year and the year before? You're talking about
Right. Right.
even Duke got bumped. You're talking about North Carolina wasn't in the final. You know what I mean? So
Right.
these
Right.
schools are starting to now reap some of these benefits of these players going to the transfer portals, because these guys know one another from little league or whatever you call Pee Wee basketball to
Mm-hmm.
AAU,
AAU and all that
and then
stuff.
they're
Mm-hmm.
they're starting to strengthen up these other teams. So in a mid college level, these some of these schools are kind of like, well, yeah, I mean, we might not be getting the ring, but we're getting a lot more than we were getting before.
Sure.
So I it's a give and take.
Okay. We're gonna go back for a minute, y'all. What was your thought about Kevin Willard leaving and um the I there was rumors that he probably had accepted the job at least maybe a week into the tournament. He
Yeah,
knew he was
yeah.
leaving. He kept on avoiding the question about him leaving. Is he going to take the job? A lot of people calling him a weasel, and because he weaseled his way out of Seton Hall to come to Maryland, and then
Mhm.
he really, because his success really was kind of it was uneven at Maryland. I mean, this year was the furthest they went in the tournament. I think they had one COVID year where they didn't play in the tournament. They're in a they were a basketball school, but they try to be a football school in a football conference, and it just hasn't worked out. Um, did you have any ill feelings about Willard? And I know me and you went back and forth about Buzz, but let's start with Willard first.
Yeah, I'm always for do what's best for you. So him moving on does not bother me in the least bit. It's just the way he does it for me. Have you ever taken a social media break? Because I have.
Yes, yeah, I have.
Have you announced that you were taking a social media break?
I did once, but most times I don't.
And
I
that's the
just I
thing.
just do it.
You just
Yeah.
do it. And that's Kevin Willett talked about this. Like, just it was like weeks and weeks. We kept when the speculation hit, he could have just shut that shit down, been like, I'm here at Maryland. He didn't have to lie and say, I don't know, anything like that. He could have just said, you know what, right now I'm here at Maryland. I'm focusing on the Terps, and we're going to see how far we can go this season. End it. You know what I mean? But he just kept taking the questions, and that's the thing I don't like.
Right.
Stop leaving with a whole lot of just go.
Right.
Just go.
Right.
That's my only beef with him. If you want to take another opportunity, I'm all for it, because Maryland is not the premier top school. Not to say that Villanova is, but if you think you have a better opportunity somewhere else, whether it's a lateral move, whether it's a downgrade, whatever it is, if you think you got a better opportunity, go ahead and take that opportunity. I don't chastise anybody for moving on.
Right. It's crazy. People like, well, Villanova is a basketball team school. He's not going to have to split the NIL. He's going to get more NIL at Villanova. Okay, great, but that don't mean he's a great coach. All that money is not going to make him a great coach. He was to me he was a mediocre coach. He was okay.
He might have been slightly above average. Slightly above
Calvin,
average.
Calvin, they never won the Big Ten while he was there.
He might have been
Eh,
slightly above
Cal,
average.
Cal, this was his best season. This was his best season, and it was his best season because he had one of the top players in the country in Derek Queen. But outside of that, he's been fed, as my grandfather would say, he's been fed a middling. You know what I'm saying? And so he's going to have a whole bunch of NIL money. This doesn't turn him into John Thompson or Dean Smith or somebody.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He's not them, but I would give him slightly, even having the one good season can catapult him to slightly above average because these boys performed well. They had chemistry. You don't get chemistry just from a coach not being good. He had chemistry.
I mean,
Well.
he had seasoned guys that he got out the portal. He mixed them up
That
pretty
stuck with them,
well,
and they stuck with him.
and they stuck with him. And as soon
And a
as he
couple of them
left,
are following him. I mean,
we'll see.
He might have been slightly above average.
Yeah, we'll see. To you, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. You know, a lot of people are also been hearing some mixed things about Buzz. I'm coming around, Calvin. I'm going to give him a chance. You know, I've been kind of like he's just also ran. You know, he's a retread. That's what I immediately said. You know, like he doesn't move the needle for me. Yes, he's had success at other schools. Um, he's been to the Sweet 16. He's been to an Elite Eight, and so yeah, way better than Willard. And so
he's won a conference championship.
He's won a conference championship, and so I just feel bad that maybe they should have did like what the Nuggets did and what the what was another team, NBA team that fired the coach before the Nuggets and the Grizzlies. They should have
Suns.
Yeah, they should have fired him before the end of the season and maybe gone and get Buzz, and Buzz could have tried to keep as many players as
you can't fire before the end of the season. He headed towards the Sweet 16.
I don't care.
They should have won the Big Ten.
The Grizzlies are going to the playoffs and they fired their head coach. The Nuggets are going to the playoffs and they fired their head coach and GM. And so
fired.
You could do it. You could do it. I think they're starting him in a terrible place. He's got a lot to do. So, any thoughts about Buzz before we move on to our next topic?
Yeah, so you know how I feel. I looking at his previous record, like I tried to tell Garland, he's qualified to get the Maryland job. That was my whole point. He's qualified to get the job. You look at his past record and his past successes, he's qualified to get the Maryland job. I don't know. Garland fought me on that. We fought for like a half a day on that one.
We just texting it. No. Calvin sending me screenshots and everything. Like, oh God.
The man is qualified to take the. He may not be qualified for a Florida job right now. He may not be qualified for a women's South Carolina job or a Duke job, but he's qualified to take a Maryland Big Ten job right now. He's qualified.
This reminds me of The Color Purple, the original movie, when Mr. Went to ask for Nettie's hand in marriage. And he said, "You can't have Nettie. You can't have her. You never will." He said, "But I got another daughter. Her name's Celie." He's like, "I ain't never seen her. Where's she at?" And he pulled her out. That's what Buzz Williams is, Celie.
No, that actually makes Maryland Celie. Maryland is Celie.
Right. Anyways, man. So we'll see what happens with college sports as we head into later on in the year. Let's talk a little bit of NBA. The play-in tournament starts tonight, and tonight we got Atlanta versus Orlando. That game's probably get ready to start right about now. That's the 7th versus the 8th place game, and then the nightcap will be Memphis, which is a decent team with your boy shooting the rockets, the guns up in the air, can't put his guns down. Ja Morant versus Golden State, who lost a very close game on Sunday to the Clippers. Kawhi Leonard looks like he's back. Leonard was putting it on him. That's the 7-8 game, 7-8 game in the West. And tomorrow, the 9-10 game is Miami versus the Bulls. The Bulls made it into the playoffs. And then you have Dallas versus Sacramento in the 9-10 game. The winner of the 9-10 game will face the loser of the 7-8 games. And so, and then as we get into the playoffs, the number one seed in the West, of course, is OKC. Number two is the Rockets. Calvin's Lakers are number three, and the Nuggets are four. Clippers are five, and the Timberwolves are six. The Lakers will face the Timberwolves in the opening round, and the Nuggets will face the Clippers. Two good series to start off. Over in the East, the Cavaliers are the number one seed. They'll face the winner of the, I think it's the the 7-8, no, the 9-10 game. And then the Celtics, they're the number two seed. And you got the Pacers and Bucks at 4 and 5, and the Knicks at 3 and 6 seeds in the East. And so I know you're going to say Lakers, but I'm going to ask you again, just to get you on record, who you see coming out the West?
Now, don't do that. I'm gonna say the Lakers because I have not picked my Lakers to come out of the West.
Okay, who you
for
picking?
a couple years.
Who you picking this year?
I'm picking the Lakers to come out of this year. Listen, man, listen. First of all, adding Luka was the. I'm gonna go on record again and said that 3 years ago I said they can trade Anthony Davis, and they did it. I didn't think they would get something like a Luka Doncic for him, but they got him. So when I'm looking at it, the Lakers can definitely beat Minnesota.
Okay.
If they win and if everybody holds court, they can beat Houston. They can beat the Rockets. Then they would have to go play OKC. Now that's the tough one. I'm gonna be honest. I would have OKC coming out the West. I just think that OKC, after what happened last season, they may still be a little tight in the butt because they're young and they may not be playoff tested. Although you only really need one season, and they did their thing last year, and they almost made it, but they didn't. I really have OKC coming out, but I think the Lakers can do it. But I got OKC really coming out the West.
Okay. I'm agree with you. I still like OKC. I mean, they were great offensively. They were great defensively. I think they learned from last year. They were a young team, second year in. Players are more mature. They've had the experience. I do think the Lakers have a very manageable path to get to the Western Conference Finals. I think if they get past the Timberwolves, they could handle the Rockets relatively well. I haven't seen the Rockets play a lot this year, but I mean, they got, Ime's got them playing well. They got a nice young core, but they're young. And so, LeBron, Luka, all that experience, I could see them getting by them and getting to a conference final. That's a good matchup for them to get there. The Thunder have it a little bit more difficult because they got to get past either the Nuggets or the Clippers. I think the Clippers are very good. I think the Clippers are going to surprise a lot of people. You got a healthy Kawhi. That game Sunday, I think he put 30 plus up on the board. He looked like San Antonio Kawhi, and so I think they're going to be a very tough out. I think they can get the Nuggets. Outside of Djokovic, they struggle a lot defensively, and I don't see them stopping the Clippers from really having their will offensively. And so we'll see if Golden State gets out here. They might get the Rockets. That's going to be a tough series for them, and whoever comes out the 9-10, I think the Thunder can handle them. Let's get to the East. Who you thinking stands the best chance to get out of the East to the championship?
Yeah, I think we beginning of the season, I think both of us picked Boston to come out.
Yeah.
However, we talked.
Ooh, you went out.
Can you see me?
Yeah, you
I
back.
don't know what happened. We talked about experience in the West, and Boston does have it, and Boston can come out. I'm gonna put some money on Cleveland. I'm gonna put some money on the number one seed to go ahead and make the upset. Cleveland has been defying gravity and all types of laws since
Yeah.
since the beginning of the season. Would they go on that 12, 13 game win
Yeah,
streak?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
They were on pace to get 70 plus. And yeah,
yeah.
man.
I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna put some money on Cleveland to come out. I'm gonna going out on a limb. You
Okay,
heard it here first.
I hear.
Even though they the number one seed, you ain't hear it here first. But Cleveland coming out the East.
Okay, I like that. The Celtics, I know they coming in the playoffs a little dinged up. Cavaliers played them very well during the season, won a couple of those matchups. I think when you're looking at it, I think the Cavaliers do have the easier path to the conference final. They face the winner of the Pacers Bucks. I think they can handle whoever that team is. I think the Celtics got a little bit tougher because you got the Knicks at the 3 seed, Pistons at the 6. That's going to be a tough series, whoever they get. But it could be a Cav Celtic final, and I would not be surprised if the Cavs do it. And so I'm going to go with the upset. Although the Celtics have played very well this year, I think maybe we might see a surprise, and I think that would be crazy if the Cavaliers make the finals without LeBron.
It would be crazy.
It would be crazy. It would be crazy. And so we'll see what happens. Tune into the games this evening, and we'll follow that as it goes along. And so let's talk about a little NFL draft. Drafts coming up. I just saw a report that Eric DeCosta, he's non-committal on Andrew's future with the Ravens. Why they keep on doing my man Mark like this? Why they doing my man Mark like this?
Because he it's time. You got Isaiah Likely sitting back there, and you can't pay him. You can't pay everybody. So Mark might be the low man on the totem pole. It's
Wow.
always a what have you done for me lately league. We keep trying to tell people that
Yeah.
y'all into this loyalty shit. This ain't USAA. This ain't being passed down the generation like Mark Andrews' family
This ain't
is.
USAA.
This is like Mark Andrews and his family on the commercial, the third generation
Right.
USAA member. Nah, Mark Andrews dropped some critical balls in that playoff game, and Eric DeCosta can say what he want to say, but the organization is side-eyeing him, especially when you got a guy like Isaiah Likely right behind him. I'm just saying.
Okay. Yeah, you
I'm
right. You
just
right. You right.
saying.
They're gonna have to make that. We'll see. Drafts coming up. Maybe they might be able
I,
to move.
I wouldn't be surprised if Mark Andrews gets moved on draft day. I don't want him to, but I wouldn't be surprised if he did.
Kind of like a Hollywood Brown move. Bring us a couple draft picks.
I- or a player. Mark Andrews is much more valuable than Hollywood Brown was.
Right.
Mark Andrews can take any mediocre or rookie quarterback and make him into a top tier passer at least that one season. He may be looking at a blockbuster trade there. I'm not saying they're going to do it, but I would not be surprised if they did do it.
Okay. The Ravens are picking 27th in the first round. You think they go with a cornerback or defensive tackle, defensive end? I mean, a safety, excuse me, not a cornerback. They let Marcus Williams go. They still have Ardarius Washington. I think he's
Mhm.
restricted free agent. They haven't re-signed him yet. Uh, and you have a couple guys that you drafted last year, Tampa, TJ Tampa,
They still got
and
super Kyle. Got
yeah, they
super
still got
Kyle.
Kyle. Well, Kyle's definitely your strong safety, but they need a free safety to replace Marcus. And so, what do you think they do? You think they go defensive line? They need a rush in, or do you think they go with safety?
I have never, ever, in the 30 years the Ravens have been in existence, I have never been correct on anyone that they've drafted. And I doubt if I start now.
Hmm.
I've said for the past 3 4 years they need an edge rusher. They need someone on the end of that line to get to the quarterback. I think they can. I think they develop secondaries pretty well. I think they need an edge rusher. So I would say that they're going for someone on the defensive line. Now, with my track record, they'll fuck around and pick up a backup running back. A third string running back in the
Right,
first
right,
round.
right. Craziness. Hey, while we were on our short hiatus, something happened that I don't know how Calvin really felt about it, but I guess I'm the John Harbaugh apologist on the podcast.
Apologist. I'm the apologist. Are you
I I've
serious?
never. I said John Harbaugh was a good coach. You wanted to get rid of him for Bobby
Are,
Slowick.
are you
Calvin, don't
serious?
make me remind you that you wanted to get rid of John Harbaugh for Bobby Slowick.
I did. But don't make me remind you that every time we pick, what do you say when we talk about the Ravens record? Well, you got to
He's
count John Harbaugh
for at
for at
least
least two or
you,
three losses every season. Are you kidding me?
you do.
I'm the apologist. I'm the one that had to say to you, he's made. When we talked about should he be a Hall of Famer, you were like, "Oh hell no, he's not a Hall of Famer." Are
I
you
said that.
serious?
I did not say
Yes.
that. I did not say
I
that.
was the one that had to say to you, he's made the playoffs more than not. He's always deep. What coaches are better out there? Because
I mean, I
remember,
agree with you on that. I
I
agree with you on
compared
that.
him to Tomlin. Because if you're
Yeah,
saying you
I
got to
agree
get
with
rid
you.
of Harbaugh, you got to get rid of Tomlin. They both only got one ring,
Right.
So, but
All right. Well,
I
the
can't
Ravens
believe you the apologist, sir.
Ravens reached a 3-year contract extension with Harbaugh back at the end of March. Keeps him under contract with the team through the 2028 season. Harbaugh is 62. He was entering the final year of his contract that he signed back in March of 2022. The Ravens have never let him start a regular season on the final year of his contract since he was hired in 2008. He's also the team's all-time winningest head coach with a 185 and 115 record over 17 seasons. Of course, they won a Super Bowl title in 2012. And his 12 playoff berths are the second most in the league behind Andy Reid, who has 14 since he arrived in Baltimore. And he's the second longest tenured NFL coach behind Mike Tomlin of the Steelers, who completed his 18th season in Pittsburgh. No other coach has been with his current team for more than 12 years. And so, good extension.
And after everything I just said to prove my point, 3 years? Are you kidding me? Wait a minute. Is
3
there an
years.
option to opt out after the first year?
He gonna be here. He gonna do those 3
Yeah,
years.
man. So it makes sense. It makes business sense. It makes team sense. The Ravens, if you notice, one thing with the Ravens, rarely do they go out here and take unmitigated chances on even coaches. I was real shocked that I was real shocked that they hired what's his face as defensive coordinator, not because he wasn't qualified, but because there were other names out there that you could have
Or
gotten.
mhm.
But they decided that they were going to try to stick with the continuity. And if you notice, the Ravens do that. The
Yeah, they do.
Ravens,
They do.
they rarely go out and grab something that's outside of the box. They
Yeah,
do
they
it with
only done it
offensive
once.
coordinators lately,
Yeah,
but
they only did it with Kubiak. I think that was the first time that they did it, and then a couple other times they
well, they
did
did it with Harbaugh.
offensive.
They actually did it
Oh
with
yeah, they
Harbaugh.
did it with Harbaugh, but he
But
kept he kept Rex Ryan, who was
yeah,
inside.
yeah,
And a lot of
they
those defensive coaches were there under Billy.
so yeah, this is a definite Ravens move to keep him. I just hope it doesn't hurt him because in the midst of doing that, they always lose these guys that seem to be very good coordinators that could possibly be head coaches. So I just hope it doesn't hurt him. I thought that maybe John would move and either Munkin would come down on the sideline. I thought that
Sure.
maybe he would do that. But with this 3 year contract, I'm sure Munker is gonna, if he has any head coaching aspirations, which I'm sure he does after being with Lamar. I think Munkin is going to move on after this season, especially if the Ravens can win the Super Bowl. I think he'll move on after this season.
Okay, you heard it first here. B.I.G show. Um, Now let's talk about the draft. Draft is next week. There's been a lot of stories on your boy Shedeur Sanders. Let me ask you this: do you think he's going to be drafted in the top three? You think he's going to make it past the Giants? You got it's pretty much um, in ink that the Titans are going to take Cam Ward. The second and the third picks are kind of up in the air. You got the Browns who've worked them out. They need a quarterback. The owners already said they made a big mistake with Deshaun Watson. They need to try to get it right. You got the Giants. You got the general manager and the head coach who are basically fighting for their professional lives because they put all of their dimes in Danny Dimes, and he turned out to be a disaster. You got a quarterback here who most people are saying he's a first round, but I've seen a range from two all the way down to the bottom of the round to the 20s. And so I personally, I don't think he's going to, he should be in the top five somewhere. I don't think he gets past 10. Yeah, but I'm thinking if Cleveland doesn't take him or New York doesn't take him, then there's a possibility he might be available in the 20s to Pittsburgh. But what's your thoughts? Do you think which team you think is going to take him?
So I never thought he was going to get past the Giants initially. But the Giants did pick up Jameis Winston, which
And Wilson,
yeah, and Russell. I forgot about Russell.
Russell,
So and I'm looking at the order now. He may not even make it past Cleveland.
right?
But there's some things that have gone on. So when you look down, he's Patriots don't need him. Jacksonville signed Trevor Lawrence to a big deal. So they probably don't need him, but I could see him going there. Las Vegas picked up Geno. Um, the Jets need a quarterback. Carolina doesn't. But here's the thing. So at number 9, you got the New Orleans Saints. They're talking about Carr maybe out for the season.
Right.
And if he's out for the season, this may be it for him. Um, I don't see tennis Chicago. Then you got San Francisco, Dallas, Miami, Indianapolis. I don't see him going. I'm with you. I don't see him going past 10, but I don't see him going past 9. I think New Orleans is on the clock. Now, what may happen is if he does get past Cleveland and New York, you may start seeing a whole lot of trades going on, a whole
People
lot of
trying to get
teams
up.
jumping up, yeah, to try to snatch him before New Orleans gets to him. But no, I don't see him. I know we were talking about a mock one time that they had him going to the Steelers all the way
Yeah,
down in the
the
20s.
20s. Yeah,
And I was
21.
like, "Ugh, I don't know about that."
Yeah, I agree with you because if you look after New Orleans, just about every team has its quarterback. Bears,
Hmm.
Niners, Cowboys, Dolphins, Colts, Falcons.
Well, I
Uh,
wouldn't. So we think the Dolphins have Tua, but there's a lot of rumbling about them not liking Tua for whatever reason. I have
he
no idea.
he can't stay
Well,
healthy.
he can't stay healthy. Yeah,
Yeah, he can't
that's
stay
probably the
healthy and
rumble.
all. But you got little man out in Arizona.
This might
Uh,
be his. It could be he could be on the block to also.
okay. Well, you got the Bengals. They're not going anywhere
Mm,
off of Joe Burrow. Um,
Seattle picked up
Seattle.
Darnold. They
Yeah,
picked
picked
up
up
Sam.
Darnold. So I think the Buccaneers they're happy with
Hmm.
Baker.
Hmm.
You got the rookie. Oh my God, why don't I forget his name in Denver?
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
solid. So then you
he's
got
solid there.
Pittsburgh.
Then you got Pittsburgh, and so
Yeah.
yeah, and then after that, the rest of those teams are pretty much quarterback tight, and so we'll see. I think he's a top first round talent, and I just hope he ends up in a good system with a good team. I think Cleveland he would do well with Stefanski. Stefanski does well with quarterbacks. I think he would thrive there. I'm not sure about the Giants. I don't trust Dayball, but I think he would do very well in Cleveland. You know,
Yeah, I can't. I, I can't see, even though Cleveland picked up Joe, but I
yeah,
can't see Cleveland passing up on him. Like
yeah,
they've always talked about them possibly getting Travis Hunter, but I don't see why they would want to pass up on a talent like Shedeur Sanders. Now, um, I told you I'm with our boy Jay. I'm not a big Shedeur is a franchise superstar type player,
okay,
but I think his accuracy is there. I think he is good enough to be a good, not just serviceable, but a
yeah.
good NFL
Uh,
quarterback.
yeah, I agree with you. Is he going to come out and carry a team like Lamar, or Burrow or something like that. No, I don't think he's that talented. But I think with the right pieces there, right system, I think he could thrive. Yeah, definitely. What position do you think Travis Hunter is going to play in the league?
Oh, that's so tough. Of course, it depends on who drafts him. I don't know, man. I think you want to say that corner is probably the preferred position. But with these wide receivers, he could get sliced up. I think he should come out as a wide out personally.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a lot. I don't want to say easy because I'm not an NFL player, but it appears to be a lot easier to catch a ball and burn a corner than to stop an elite wide receiver from catching the ball and burning your ass.
Sure.
But with that being said, there are a whole bunch of elite, what we consider elite wide receivers. There are not as many elite cornerbacks. So
True, but I
he,
think that money is in the wide receiver. I mean, hey, your boy Jamar Chase to sign the richest contract in the league.
yeah, but
Um,
would he be a Jamar Chase? Because
he could be.
he could be a Patrick Peterson or who just signed what cornerback just signed? Oh my gosh. Just became the highest paid cornerback. See, I think the money
Oh,
for
the
him,
kid out in Denver, Patrick Sertan the
I think
second.
the money for him would be in being a cornerback.
Hmm. I think it's wide receiver. You know, they're making the money. This is a wide receiver league. The rules are very friendly for wide
They
receiver.
really are. They really
And
are.
so, I mean, I think he was thriving in college. Imagine what he could do in the pros with a good quarterback.
I was about to say, but then he got to go to a team that has a good
He has a
quarterback.
good one. Yeah, so Drake May, he's just coming off his rookie season. They're rebuilding there. Most teams, most pundits are saying that he's probably going to end up with New England, and so
Okay.
yeah, so we'll see what happens. So that he worked out at his pro day at wide receiver mostly. So a lot of people are thinking he's leaning towards wide receiver as well. So we'll
Okay.
see.
Okay.
All right, man. Let's talk about the home team, the Baltimore Orioles. Man, our Orioles. It's early. It's
We're
early.
losing 1-0 already in the
Oh
third inning
God,
to Cleveland.
it's early. It's early. You know, we can't really pass judgment in April, but it's looking tough. The Orioles they're in last place at this moment, 6-9, just 2.5 games out. They have not won a back-to-back game this season so far. We went to opening day, was a great win. They split the opening series up in Toronto, and they've just struggled on and off. Couple back to back losses. They had a 3 game losing streak uh, in the middle of the season, Boston, and then going to KC and losing a game there. They lost 2 of 3 in Arizona. Um, we should have won a game on Sunday. They had the lead going into the 8th inning, 6-4. Wound up losing that game 7-6.
Lost that series.
We lost
That
that
was
series.
Toronto.
Well, that split, because the first game was rained out, so they just split the 2 game.
Right. The
Yeah,
Friday night game
yeah,
was
the
right out.
Friday night game was. And so, just in your watching the games, what you think the Orioles' biggest challenge is so far?
We're always going to say pitching, but it has not really been just pitching. The bats have gone absolutely silent at the worst times.
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
I don't know. I thought injecting Gunner back in there would help. Um, I mean, it's early.
It's
That's all
early.
we can say as Baltimore
It's
fans.
early.
It's early. It's
It's
early.
early. I mean, last year they started off raking hard, and the
Hmm.
year before that they were raking hard. And
Hmm.
yeah, this season it is like
And the
they're
division is down right now.
yeah,
It's not like the division, someone's running away with the division like they did the past
right.
couple years. They were running
Yeah.
away with the division at the
Mhm.
beginning of the season.
Yeah.
So,
And a lot of people, because the Yankees started off so good with the altered bats and everything, with the magic bats they were using, but they've come back to earth. They're 9-7, so they're not, like we said, it's 2.5 games. Let's talk about Holiday for a minute. He was our prize pick. We didn't trade him. We kept him, and inserted him in the lineup. He's been mostly down last year. He had some, moments of sparkling and everything. Started off the season on a tear, and he's kind of slowed down. I mean, is it fair to say that he might be heading towards bust land?
Nah, absolutely not fair.
Okay.
He's This is his first full major league season. So
Hmm.
unfortunately, he's not eligible for Rookie of the Year. But that should take some pressure off of him. You would think that if you're not eligible for Rookie of the Year, all you have to do is perform within this team structure, the offense and the defense. Um, but again, it's still early. He's still learning. He wasn't up for many games last season, so he's still learning. He's still trying to get the chemistry down. Gunner's been out, so that means he's had to move over. Um, yeah, man, we'll see. I wouldn't call him a bust yet. He's 21, first full major league season. I wouldn't call him a bust just yet.
Okay. All right.
He's not
Yeah.
playing well. He's not playing well right now, but
Yeah. And I think they're gonna have to. Is Hyde gonna have this job by July?
so I'm not a fire hide guy, but I do believe in baseball. They've talked about it in football, although Harbaugh seems to be bucking the trend. But I do believe in baseball, sometimes a different voice makes a big difference to the club. I think we talked about last year, if they struggle towards the middle of the season or they don't make the playoffs, that this could be Hyde's last year. I think he may be headed towards the top of that slope. I don't know if he's there yet, but I think he may be headed towards it.
Yeah, I was surprised that they brought him back. I thought he was done after washing out of the playoffs last year. That's 2 straight years
Yeah, but
of
they weren't his fault. They just weren't his fault.
he's the manager.
Last year was
And
not his fault.
he's the manager. And I think he's sometimes, like you said, I think there's some coaches that can only take you so far. And then like you need another voice, or maybe there's a better
Hmm.
manager that can take you to the next level. Yes, he's gotten them in the playoffs, but you know, I,
And maybe that's his peak.
yeah, that's his
Maybe
peak.
that's his
Yeah,
peak.
yeah. But
So
we'll see. We'll see what happens with him. All right. So now we're at the point of the show that everybody loves and misses. Come on, yo. So I'll start off. Come on, yo. Come on, Carnival Cruise. For my 33rd wedding anniversary, I went on a Carnival cruise with my wife, and actually, I like Carnival Cruise. It was fun. The boat was kind of small, and so there was not a lot of pools or anything. And so basically, all the kids on the ship took over the pool. You couldn't get in the pool when you were on the boat. But we went to some nice locations and we got off, and it was close to a beach, and so we went to one of the local beaches in Bimini. And then when we went to Nassau, we brought an excursion. If you ever been on a cruise, you can buy a trip off of the boat, and they take you maybe to an island so you can snorkel. That's what we did. We went to an island. We did some snorkeling. They took us to a reef, and we had some snorkeling equipment on and did that and stuff. And they had free rum punch on the ship, on the boat. It was a catamaran, and they had some food, and we had a good time. They had a DJ. But Carnival, do I got to pay for everything? Like, come on, yo. I'm trying to chill on the deck, Calvin, trying to get my little tan on. About every 5 minutes, a waiter comes up to me. Do you want a drink? Do you want to buy a drink? Do you want to buy a drink? Do you want to buy our fresh pressed juices? Do you want to buy a beer? Now, if you've been on a cruise, you know that they sell drink packages, and so you can buy a soda package, which we brought, which was the cheapest. We were paying cheap, and so we brought the soda package. But you can buy the alcohol package, which comes out to like $30 a day for beer and all your
mhm.
drinks, what have you. And but okay, Carnival. But y'all ain't got to harass us while we on board. We can't get just a drink that ain't gonna cost us $20 because we ain't get the drink package. And then they run a game at dinner. All right, you go in and you get the regular menu, but then there's a special menu. If you want lobster tail, say like you want surf and turf, that's $30, $40. It's not part of the menu. Like, so what you saying about y'all food, Carnival? That the surf and turf is special? That's why we got paid for it, and the other stuff y'all giving us is trash. Oh my God, Carnival. Y'all, I mean, everything costs something. The internets. Now, I was all, actually, it was good, Calvin, not having the internet package because it forced me to stay off the phone, which was good. I didn't know who was winning what. I didn't know what was going on in terms of sports while I was gone. And so that was great. But, like, come on, yo. We can't get a little sneak peek of the little internets without having to pay for the package. Carnival, y'all do it bad. And then they play movies on the ship, like when you at water at sea. And so one of the movies was a movie with Ryan Reynolds' wife, Blake Lively. It's called It Ends With Us. Have you seen it?
I started watching it. I haven't seen it all.
Don't watch the rest of it.
Well, aren't
Now,
they still in court behind that?
yeah, and I know why he's suing her, because it's a terrible, horrible movie. That's why she's suing him, because it's a horrible movie. I can't get those 2 hours back. It's a horrible movie. I'm like, okay, now I know why they fighting, because this was mess. I'm not even going to give it away in the plot, y'all. Pull that thing up on the stick. Do not do no pay-per-view. All of that stuff.
I think it
ends with us.
I think it's on. It's on Netflix, or it's on Netflix. I think it's on. It might be HBO. Well, it's on one of them.
Don't watch it. Don't watch it. Let it go. And my last, come on, yo. I watched Wicked. All right, Wicked was one of the movies. Why Wicked had to be 3 hours long? I fell asleep on Wicked. I'm like, okay, oh my God, come on, I gotta fall asleep. And then they had the nerve, Calvin, at the end to be like, part 2 coming soon. What you mean part 2's coming soon? You just took 3 hours for part 1. You just took 3 hours for part 1. What you mean part 2 coming? Part 2 wasn't in that 3 hours that y'all did? Oh, man. But anyway, I had a great time though. Carnival Cruise. I love our room attendant, Edict. He was great. He turned down the bed, had the nice little design towel on the bed and stuff. It was beautiful. Our wait staff, they were very nice. And everybody's always nice on vacation. I never got so many excuse me's and hellos. Mm-hmm. People just wanting to talk to me out the blue. And that was great. And so I enjoyed it. It was relaxing. But yeah, Carnival, come on, yo. Stop trying to charge us for everything. All right.
We so up until about 3-4 years ago, I had never been on a cruise. So I'm a veteran at the cruise game now. So let me school you a little bit. Let me school you a little bit.
This was my 4th cruise. I've been on cruises, so I know.
My favorite cruise ship was Royal Caribbean, because you can see everything in there. You can stand on the balcony, see everything inside. Right. Carnival, we took over Christmas cruise. We were on the plane when the Ravens played the 49ers last Christmas, and we were watching them beat that ass. We did a Christmas cruise on Carnival. It was okay. The best cruising is Virgin. That was the last one we went on last year. Virgin is adults only. Mm-hmm. Everything's included. Their drink packages, you can buy a $200, $300, $400 credit, and it goes towards your drink. And not every person in the room has to buy. You can buy just one $200 credit. If you don't get the credit, then you just buy it at the regular price on the ship, which is $10, $11. Mm-hmm. There's no tipping involved. Everything is included. So you want to do Virgin. We went to Bimini on Virgin. Loved Bimini.
Okay.
I actually enjoyed. We rode our little golf cart through Bimini. Did you go to the other beach in Bimini?
Yeah, I went to the other beach down at the resort inn, and then when you dock, there's a beach right there too. We went to that beach. Yeah.
Well, no. Did you go to the beach that the natives go to?
No, I didn't go to that. They was like, don't go there because they might kidnap you.
Really? Not in Bimini. Bimini were probably the nicest, least intrusive people that we've been. We've been
Oh,
to a
okay.
few of the islands, and you know how they're always trying to sell you something.
Right.
Although Bimini was, but it wasn't. They have a, the island is only a couple miles
Yeah.
long, and it's one road.
Right.
But off of that road, there's a beach that the natives go to.
Okay.
It's small beach, but it's nice, and they got the food there, and it's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Um,
They
so
were
Virgin,
warning people: do not take any jet ski rides with people, especially if they're not affiliated with the boat, because we can't guarantee they're gonna bring you back.
well, we just did the golf cart through.
Yeah.
But Virgin. So make sure
Yeah.
next one you go on is
Yeah. Next
Virgin.
one is
You'll
Virgin.
love Virgin.
I'll do that.
The Wicked. I took the wife to see Wicked for her birthday last year, and I said the same thing when they said part two is coming. I said, "What the?" I told her, "Listen, happy birthday, but part two you're gonna have to see on your own, cause
Right.
your husband ain't." Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I'm not a musical person.
Right.
People love the movie. I thought it was just
It was
long,
long.
just
It's long.
long and drawn out. Although, as an activist, because that's what you are, I'm
Right.
surprised that I enjoyed the message of the
Yes,
movie.
it was very themey, a
I
lot of
enjoyed the
message
I
and
enjoyed
stuff.
the
And
message of the
I picked
movie.
up the messages
You
in it,
pick up the messages?
but
Yeah, I
they could have gave
enjoyed
the
that.
message in an hour and a half,
I agree. I
not
agree.
three. I know they're going
I
2
agree.
hours.
I agree with you.
Uh,
I agree. My come on, yo. This one hurts me. This one hurts me, brother.
okay.
This one hurts me.
All right.
My come on, yo, is for Garland and Calvin and the B.I.G show. A month, yo. A month.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
ain't, and not only a month, but we've been so sporadic since about last summer. Every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks.
We gotta
There,
get
like I said at the beginning, we keep
consistent.
coming back. We're back again. Like, damn, y'all ain't never here. Y'all ain't never here. It's like we bi-weekly or something around it. It's like we need to call the show the paycheck because we come on bi-weekly. Yo, come.
It'd be like, yo, you home? You want to do it today? How about tomorrow then?
Yo, come on,
Tomorrow
yo.
turns into next week.
Exactly. Come on, yo. We ain't never, we ain't been consistent. We supposed to been talking about raising Canaan. Here, Canaan like 78 now.
Right.
We ain't,
I tried to watch it about a couple weeks ago. I was like, this mess.
yo, come on, Big Show. We need to get some consistency back, and it ain't gonna get any easier because now the summer coming, and
Get warm.
we,
Yeah.
come on, yo, come on, Big Show, get it together. Come on, Garland and Calvin.
I would tell you, Calvin, this is so crazy. Last night, I was having a dream. I was fussing with Colin Cowherd about the Clippers, and Paula had to wake me up. I'm thinking like, dang, I hadn't done this show in so long. I'm fussing in my dreams about sports. I'm like,
Yeah.
the Clippers ain't nothing without Harden. You don't. And she like, honey. I was like, oh, what? She said, who you fussing with? I was like, Colin Cowherd. I hadn't done B.I.G in so long. I'm fussing with my dreams.
Come on, yo. We Big show. We gotta get. People been asking for some music battles. They stopped asking
Right.
me when we were going to do our show and movie reviews. We used to do that. We don't do. Come
Yeah.
on, Big, get it
I know.
together.
I know. We're going to. I think we need good material, y'all. It
We
has
need
to
good
get
material.
better. Yeah, like we thought Kanan. I was looking at Kanan like I don't even know what this show is anymore. It's been totally gone
Canaan
from.
ain't bad. Canaan ain't bad.
I'm gonna
It's not.
catch up with some episodes. I'm just like the writing, these. Yeah. Anyway,
We got to get it
we're gonna
together.
do better, y'all.
We had Paradise. We could have talked about Paradise. Was good. Did you watch
Yeah,
Paradise?
Paradise was great.
Yeah,
Did you
man.
watch? You watch any Black Mirror? That's out.
I watched the first episode yesterday,
Black
and
Mirror is out.
it was very Black Mirror-ish. It was
Yes.
good. I
Yes.
enjoyed it.
Yes.
I enjoyed
Yes.
episode
Yes.
one. We'll probably
Yes.
watch episode two tonight. It
Yes.
was
Yes.
very
Black Mirror
Black
is out.
Mirror-ish. I
There's
really
another
enjoyed it.
Netflix show, Adolescence. Have you watched that?
I haven't watched Adolescence yet.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I started watching, and it's old now. We started watching Yellowstone. Have you watched Yellowstone?
I haven't. And a lot of people say Yellowstone is good. I need
it
to.
It is actually really
down
good. We're in the third season now. It's actually really good. It's actually really good.
I'm gonna catch up with that.
I was surprised how good it was. Yellow Jackets. We've been watching Yellow Jackets. We just finished their third season.
Did you watch White Lotus?
No, but I plan on watching White Lotus. I hear that's good.
It was decent.
So yeah,
the first season was the best. The third season was okay. Second season was okay.
Yeah, man, we just missing out. I'm still in Tyler Perry's what is it called?
What's that? Oh my god, you
the
told me about
black is something whatever it's called. It's horrible, but I can't stop watching the shit. It's horrible. Season 1 was bad. Season 2 is even worse, but I can't stop watching the shit.
Is it on BET Plus?
It's on Netflix. It's on Netflix.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. It's on Netflix. But anyway, man, at least we got through the show. Yeah. Hey, and we only gave y'all a little bit over an hour. We usually be here for like 2 or 3 hours because we got a whole lot to say. So
right.
I mean,
nice and trim.
Exactly. Hold on. Orioles were losing 1-0. It's still 1-0 because we on Orioles watch right now.
They ain't gonna score. They better score Saturday when we at the game.
We're gonna be there Saturday to see Ellie De La Cruz.
Yes,
that's us. Cincinnati coming into town, the Reds, and I hate that my O's are starting to be the team. Well, I can't say that because they were good the last couple of years, but they were the team like the Wizards for so long, who you just go just to see the players from the other teams coming. I got to see Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani like 3 different times.
Right.
So
definitely.
Anyway, let me hit this outro so I can get me something to eat, and because we still got to work tomorrow and shit like that. So that shit is ridiculous.
Let me get ready to go fuss out somebody else. Maybe Steve.
You have been listening to the B.I.G. Show.
Virgin Cruises, man. I'm telling you, Virgin is where it's at.
Yeah, that's the next
and
one.
Garland Thomas.
Virgin is where it's at. Yeah.
The adult movie.
Follow us on all of your podcast media platforms.
All right, man. Later, yo.
Peace, bro.